Well, the rain has cleared. We've got a beautiful Saturday afternoon for lacrosse as the Princeton Tigers come to New Haven for a top 15 matchup with the Yale Bulldogs. Well, a pleasant good afternoon. Austin Rooney alongside Patrick Reed. We're glad to have you on hand for this afternoon's contest. Princeton comes in ranked second in the country. It's about as big of a test as the Bulldogs could ask for.
Yeah, this is going to be a great matchup. Last few years, it's really all gone Yale's way, but this Princeton team is a different team than we've seen in the past. They are firing on all cylinders, and this is looking to be a great game.
And let's take a look at a couple of players to watch, starting with the Bulldogs. Brian Tevlin, he is the team captain. I talked with Coach Andy Shea before the game, and he can't say enough good things about him.
Brian Tevlin, a really tough leader. This is his second year. He lost that year because of COVID last year, and he is the sole leader in a team like Yale that is very young, has to look to their senior leadership to pull a win out in this game.
On the other side of the ball for Princeton, Chris Brown. How about 9 points in the win over Penn last weekend?
6 goals, 3 assists. That game winner, broken stick, ball goes right to him and he finishes it. He has been a player that has gotten better and better every year. He's coming back to his home state of Connecticut. Family here, friends here. Look for him to have a huge game.
Yeah, right in the top 10 in the country in points per game. Comes in with 31 points for the Tigers. It doesn't get much bigger than this in the Ivy League. And the Yale Bulldogs come in ranked 14th. For Princeton, they come in ranked 2nd in the country.
Princeton has just had back-to-back-to-back really tough games.
Yeah, they've in the stretch of a 6-game span right now against top 20 opponents. This is their 5th game in that 6-game stretch. I had a chance to talk with Coach Madeline before the game, and he recognizes how hard of a stretch it is. He says, but he embraces it. It's the sort of schedule they're looking for.
You have to beat the best to be the best, and they're gonna go whatever they have to do.
Well, Yale comes away with it. Right off the face-off. A lot of pressure. Really lost control. And it's Princeton who comes away with it. A short-lived possession that time for the Bulldogs. A quick shot and a quick goal. It's Princeton with Jake Stevens who opens the scoring.
Great play here. You see the pole carrying it up, looks to Stevens, and Stevens buries it high past Paquette. But that play starts at the other end with that swarming defense. Leo Johnson goes into a triple team and does not come out with the ball, and Princeton turns, puts the other way.
Nicholas Ramsey won the faceoff for Yale. But quickly back the other way, as we said, not much on that possession for the Bulldogs. It's Tyler Sandoval who takes it this time for Princeton. Sandoval's had a couple of big performances this year. He's someone who continues to work on it, though. Very intense leader for this team.
Well, the last couple of years, Yale has had the advantage in the face-off X, and they've had some really great face-off midfielders. But this is a year where Princeton is really, Sandoval has gotten a lot better and over 500, and that's something that they're going to need to win this game today.
Nearly lost control. Sam English still has it now. Ball loose. Kept in by Chris Brown. And he comes away with the ground ball. He's got time. He's got space. Fires. Stopped by Paquette. Second try. That's also wide. Alex Slusher on that last shot, but it stays with the Tigers.
Princeton with the energy early, looking to capitalize on these early possessions, put the ball in the net, and really play with a higher pace of play. Yale, a younger team, they don't want to get in a track meet with Princeton after watching what Princeton was able to do last week.
Yeah, 21 goals they put up last week in the win over Penn. They allowed 20, though. In tight, there's the shot from English. Never got all the way through. But it's a turnover, foul called against Princeton.
crease violation against Princeton, and you see Yale's going to turn it and get it up the field with their short stick midfielder.
There's Brian Tevlin. We talked about him already. The captain gives way for Brad Sharp. Oh, tried to feed Tevlin. Pass never got there. And the ground ball to Princeton.
Right now, these ground balls are coming up huge. That's probably the third ground ball that Princeton came up with, but they turn it right back over.
That's Thomas Bragg behind the net now. Shot misses wide. Guess they rule it a pass, no shot.
Ruled a pass, and that was absolutely a pass, just caught in the whip and shot down to the ground. And now you see Princeton trying to clear the ball. Yale has really worked on this ride the last couple of years and creates a lot of pressure. You hear their sideline cheering, trying to make it more difficult.
Crimmins content to slow things down. Now he finds Jake Stevens. And Barnes sets things up. There's a quick shot from Coulter Mackesy.
Both of these teams seem like they're playing a real kind of a little bit faster pace, a little bit of, looks like some nerves. You see some passes that aren't really going where we expect to see them.
Slusher forced one there, sent it high.
Couple minutes in, you'll see these teams start to settle into their routine, settle into what they do.
We talked already about the ground balls and a couple of turnovers we've had so far. In tight, Chris Brown fires wide. Just 14 to go on that shot clock. Princeton's got to get something going quickly.
Good defense by Yale. They're forcing the low angle shot.
Slusher in tight. And it's good.
And that was one where you see the officials coming together, looking at Slusher, looking at where he lands. So Slusher, good individual defense, kind of forces him low, and Slusher just dives, and he's able to stay out of that goal mouth area inside the crease.
Right. And that's what they were waiting for on the call, whether or not it would be a crease violation. And the rules this year, of course, you get pushed in, that still counts as a crease violation, but a lot of people I've talked to have said they want to revise that crease rule, but we're sticking with it for this year.
Yeah.
Another turnover, though, from Yale.
Yale has got to settle in, and this is a unique situation for the Bulldogs. So the last couple of years, it's really been the pressure has been on Princeton. And Yale, after that first loss to Cornell last week, the pressure's on them to produce and to win a game here.
Well, a tough ride, but Princeton beats it. And Alex Slusher, who just scored moments ago, starts this offense. I mean, what a dynamic player he is. 21 goals on the season.
Has really just stepped up his game this season and just leading this team offensively.
There's Chris Brown. Again, leads this team in points. We've talked about him already. 9 points last time out against Penn. 6 goals and 3 assists.
The Princeton fans wanting a slash on that, and that really was a kind of a hard slash on the back of Chris Brown.
Paquette with a big stop. Yale looking to move with it the other way. Patrick Hackler shooting. The stop from Eric Peters. The senior captain, Eric Peters, has had a terrific start to the year. His save percentage here, 57%, but that one beats him. Chris Lyons scores for the Bulldogs.
Chris Lyons got his first action last week for the Bulldogs. First action, first hat trick. And he's playing in that inside role where we saw Matt Gaudette wear that 44 for a long time, and that looks an awful lot like Matt Gaudette there.
That was the first game he played against Cornell, and he had a hat trick there. And he comes up with the goal to cut the deficit to 1. Off the violation. It's Princeton with it.
I think Nick Ramsey's been a really, despite of that violation there, he's been a real pleasant surprise for the Bulldogs this year.
Yeah, winning faceoffs at just under a 58% clip. That's the sort of number you're looking for, especially against the type of competition that Yale's playing. Brown shooting. Paquette got that one too. Couple of big saves here in the first quarter.
Yale's got numbers.
Let's see, they try to push this one. Leo Johnson, top 5 recruit in last year's recruiting class, ranked 3rd overall by Inside Lacrosse. He wasn't a surefire guy to make it though. When I talked with Andy Shea before the game today, he said, hey, we weren't sure he was going to be the guy who was going to start right away, but he has. He's played all 6 games for Yale and made a big impact, 2nd on this team in scoring. Brian Tevlin, now he got a flag.
Kind of a late flag, but it's a hold. Stick came up high, caught Tevlin up high of the head.
Brandau in tight, they score, it's tied. Brad Sharp, the first year, levels the score at 2.
Great ball movement with the flag down. You have that advantage that you're going to get the ball back. So you press, create pressure, force the middle. And Brad Sharp able to finish in tight.
So Yale's got a pair of goals back. We'll step aside here in the first quarter. Stick with us. 2-2 in a top 15 matchup. Just under halfway gone here in the first quarter. Yale 2 and Princeton 2 from Reese Stadium. Austin Rooney alongside Patrick Reed. Glad to have you on hand for this contest. A top 15 matchup with big-time Ivy League ramifications.
Well, and that is another big face-off violation, because now Yale's at 2. If they get one more, it becomes penalties anytime they get one, and we're still a lot of time left in this first half.
Yeah. English and Verdaro playing catch. After a pair of quick goals from Princeton, Yale's responded with 2 of their own. A shot from deep. Christian Ronda fired, but Paquette's there for his 3rd save.
Paquette has been doing a great job with these shots, especially those ones from the outside.
Yeah, I was about to say, Patrick, after allowing 2 goals right off the bat, he's looked great.
Well, Princeton, watching that game last week, they really did a good job of shooting the scout against. Are we getting a timeout for Princeton here?
Princeton calls the timeout.
But last week, watching the highlights from that Princeton-Penn game, you saw that 80% of their goals that they scored were stick side high. So it was clearly something that they were in the scout. They were looking that's where they were shooting, and that's where they were picking their shots. So you're disciplined with those shots. That's how you put up 21 points, in addition to just generating all those opportunities over and over again.
We've talked already a little bit about Princeton's schedule, but oh my, it bears repeating because of the teams they played in non-conference play. And again, when I talked with Coach Matt Madeline, he told me this is lucky. They had 2 games come off their schedule. They were originally, in past years at least, They'd played the likes of Virginia and Johns Hopkins. They lost those games on their schedule. They replaced them with Maryland and Georgetown.
And those two teams are having okay years this year.
Yeah,
they're
just
okay.
all right. Just all right.
That Maryland-Virginia game, I don't think there were many people that thought that you would see Maryland almost double up on Virginia.
Yeah.
In what has to be a preview of something that we're going to see in Memorial Day weekend. Two great teams. I have to think that those guys from Maryland really were thinking about last Memorial Day and that loss in the national championship game, and they had something to prove because that was a beating.
And Maryland also took down Princeton 15-10. That was in College Park. When we beat the number 2 ranked team in the country twice, it says something. That Maryland team, dynamic. Turnover off Chris Brown's stick.
And that was Luke Esbach trying to jump that pass, and it just created enough interference so that Chris Brown tipped it out of bounds.
Not exactly the start that Coach Madeline, I'm sure, would have hoped for out of the timeout. Tevlin lost the handle, taken away. Great play by George Baum, the defender, to tip it loose. And it's Andrew Strong, the long stick, trying to move in transition. What a shot! Coulter Mackesy.
Wow, that is just heat coming from Coulter Mackesy. George Baum with the double. They move the ball quickly in transition and just hands free, right off stick hip for right past Paquette.
Quite a crowd on hand here today at Reese Stadium. There's no question about it. You might not get it in your camera angle on the far side, but on the near side of the field here, these bleachers are packed. And the section directly below us here in the press box is the Princeton section, but another face-off violation.
They're calling that a hold, so it's not going to be a violation
Okay.
that causes a penalty. Because Coach Madelon was on the field looking at the officials trying to find what the call was there.
Hold called against Princeton.
A lot of people, the sky's starting to look a little bit ominous.
Yeah, there was some rain called for the forecast. My weather app doesn't tell me it's too bad, but I can only hope it stays off. I shouldn't speak too quickly. Yeah, over to our right, it doesn't look promising.
But this morning, beautiful weather.
It was, and it was beautiful weather to start at 3:30. But how things can change here in New Haven, Connecticut. Quick shot there from Matt Brandow. But the stop made by Eric Peters. Peters, a senior captain. A lot of these Princeton guys have interesting stories, but there's a turnover. Carson Cool, hands off. And Brandow, I beg your pardon, that was Chris Lyons who fired wide.
Good backup by the Princeton defense. Wow, and a push coming. That's got to be probably the second or third real stick swinging that could have been a slash that has not been called. And the Princeton coaches are not happy. The Princeton fans are not happy.
Yeah, there's no question that first one, when Princeton was attacking and there was a slash hit to the head, hit to the stick, it was a tough call, and no call made by the officials that time around either. Princeton looking to extend their lead. Sam English inside, another stop by Paquette. And cleared. Well, Paquette's had some really good games so far this season. Stopped more than 50% of his shots against Penn State, UMass, Denver, and Cornell. The Denver and Cornell one's probably the bigger story.
He's really bailed this Yale defense out, which is, has a little bit of youth to it. But he's just done a fantastic job and really just stepped up. And that's what you expect. A guy unseeded, Jack Starr.
Right.
Guy who won a national championship for Yale and comes back as a senior. And Coach Shea just said he just played that well.
Yeah, and Coach Shea also talked about Jack Starr when I spoke with him before the game, and he said, hey, the leadership he has in coaching Paquette, Paquette's won the job there, but Starr has worked with him, and he's built that relationship with him to help him. And, of course, Starr wants to be out there on the field. Wow, big collision. And there's a couple of flags fly, but to see that leadership from someone like Starr to come back and help Coach Paquette through this, it says a lot.
To be able to take the adversity and rise up and really put your team and your teammate ahead of you, it just says about the character of Jack Starr and the character of the whole team and what they pride here. That's the kind of guys that they bring in. Tremendous competitors, but you do what you can to win and to help your team win. And Jack Starr, just a great senior leader.
A late rain has started to fall here at Reese Stadium. 30-second penalty called against Coulter Mackesy. Yeah, looking to even the score on this one. In and out of Zawadzki's stick. And a turnover for Yale.
The man down defense for Princeton has been a problem for Yale as well, but the man up offense for Yale has been almost a bigger area.
And look, I talked to Coach Andy Shea about this before the game as well, and he told me we're not looking to change anything there. Of course we're working on it, but nothing big is going to be made to change either the man-up offense or the man-down defense, and both of those have struggled this year for the Bulldogs. He
has belief in his players. He has belief in his coaches, and it's something that's always a work in progress. They're always a team that gets better as the season goes, and we're going to get an opportunity right now here.
Princeton goes a man up.
Hold. And 30-second penalty. What is Yale going to be able to do? Are they going to be able to stop this man-up offense?
Yeah, the man-up dynamic for Princeton, 68.8%. In tight. Oh, big stop by Paquette. Second shot wide. It was Jake Stevens who had the initial shot. Chris Brown fired wide under 2 minutes to go in the third quarter, and that will do it for the man up for Princeton.
And you see the Yale bench jumping up and down. Happy that their guys were able to kill one off.
Princeton still working it around. There's a shot from Alexander Verdaro. And Princeton up 4-2.
Great ball movement by Princeton, getting the ball to the outside. Verdaro just looks like he's going to pass it, turns around, and just time and room.
We've seen some shots today that are just rips from the outside.
Yeah, Paquette, I'm going to ruin it. He's going to hate me after this. Paquette has been really great with those outside shots. And honestly, that shot, the deep hole, there was contact with the stick, and I think that might have just changed the trajectory just a little bit, just enough to get it past him.
Well, really look at your stats today. 17-6 the difference in shots. The Tigers have been controlling possession they've had the better of the opportunities, and they lead this one 4-2.
So Yale can just about kill this or end this first quarter with a last-second shot. And it looks like we're getting not just a little bit of rain, but it looks like a little bit of sleet or hail, yeah.
Yeah. It's not, large hail balls out here, but it's coming down.
And credit to the fans who are not flinching right now.
They brought their raincoats. They were ready for this. My weather app proved wrong. Tevlin had some space. He shot, stopped. He got his own rebound. Picked up the ground ball. In tight again. Another stop by Peters. Chris Lyons had a golden opportunity. Tried the bounce shot, but Peters there.
And look out. There's a lot of time here.
10 to go.
Princeton on the move. Here comes Chris Brown.
Really nice defensive move. That time by Chris Fake. And why not fire at the length of the field to do it? Princeton 4, Yale 2. A lot of excitement in this opening quarter in a top 15 matchup here at Reese Stadium. Stick with us.
Attention fans, we ask that you join us in practice.
We love our house.
4-2 Princeton. It's about ready to go here in the second quarter. Face-offs so far have favored the Tigers 4-3. Of course, a couple of violations mixed in there as well. And Yale wins this face-off off of a violation.
These stories, these face-offs, last couple of years really has gone Yale's way, and so Sandoval being able to keep this a 50-50 battle is really what these Tigers need.
Bragg behind the net. Leo Johnson from X. Johnson from Greenwich, Connecticut. Played at Avon Old Farms. Just can't talk about enough about how highly touted of a recruit he was, and there's a goal. It comes from Carson Kuhl. The attacker has brought the Bulldogs back within one.
Carson Kuhl, a first year, gets the ball up top, dodges across, and then just winds up and fires it right past Peters, and just a great individual effort. No slide comes. He's going to take that shot all day.
Well, the total shots favor Princeton 17-10. The shots on goal category, that's quite close. 9-8 still favors the Tigers. But it speaks to the second chance opportunities for Princeton. They've just gotten far more shots away total, but a big face-off win for the Bulldogs. Leo Johnson's got it once more. Yale looking to tie the game.
For Yale, those face-off wins are so huge. You look at last week, they were in a hole, down by 6 in the fourth quarter, and Ramsey just able to win those face-offs.
In tight toward the crease is Christian Kropp battling for it, but it's a turnover and Princeton possession. A long ball ahead. Clears have been an issue so far for Princeton, and it proves costly yet again. Just 5 out of 9 on clears so far today for the Tigers. And you talked about it already, the ride for Yale. They've been working on it, and it's paying off.
Well, Princeton there, you could see that's probably a reaction to the ride, that it was just once it's out, it's, hey, we got an open guy. Fire that, make that quick one, because we don't want Yale to really settle into that ride. And Peters just looked for a long pass and just a little bit off target.
Sharp hands off for Tevlin. Thomas Bragg all the way around. Bragg fired. Well off target that time.
This Princeton defense, not really giving an inch, just pushing everybody off their lines that they're going, and just a tough defense. You look at how they've recruited and the guys that they have, they are just a much more physical team than we've seen out of Princeton in a while.
Well, Johnson wound up and shot that one just a little wide. 14 to go on the shot clock for Yale. It was Chris Lyons. Well, I talked a lot about the shot attempts that weren't hitting the net. There were a lot from Princeton, but Yale's had quite a few of their own. Brandow with 2. And the shot clock expires.
Big defensive stand there for the Tigers.
It was not for lack of trying for Yale. They had 3 shot attempts. Couldn't get anything on target. Underneath, and the stop from Paquette. Trying to start the breakout. Yale's got numbers.
He's got Leo Johnson. He doesn't see him there.
Johnson in tight. He scores. Coast to coast. How about that transition goal for Yale? It's even at 4.
Yale loves to push that transition. And just a beautiful feed from Brandow down to Johnson. And Johnson gets it low, takes a step to increase his angle, and then finishes right past Peters.
Ramsey off the face-off. Couldn't ask for much more after this start from that face-off X. He's beating out Princeton 6-4 in that category.
Getting better as the game goes on. Ended the first. It was actually had lost more than he'd won, but wins 3 in a row.
Yeah, Princeton had 4 of the first 7 face-offs, but 3 in a row now. Shot comes from Carson Cool, wide of the net. Nearly lost it. Bragg's got it back. Leo Johnson fires, but Peters there yet again. Ground ball to George Bond. He's going to run with it. The long stick. Tried to go all the way, but he turns it over. It's a play maybe you want to slow down a little bit. When you have that sort of chance in front, it's tough to do so.
And a great ride from Princeton to cause that turnover and bring it back the other way. This is a game that just really reminds me more, looking at how Princeton played last week, but really just games that we saw kind of before the stick changes, where you're just seeing these up and down battles. You're getting a lot of looks on offense, but just so much transition, a lot of high fly in lacrosse, and just really great transition play.
Alex Slusher works it around for Princeton. Tigers looking for their first goal of the second quarter. Verdaro already scored once, winds up. Paquette read it all the way. Paquette has stopped 7 out of 11 today.
And now Yale's just got to clear it across. Not a lot of pressure on that ride from Princeton.
Yeah, after forcing a turnover the time prior, too. Yale looking for their first lead of the day. It was Princeton who started the scoring with 2 goals. Yale responded with 2. Princeton added 2 more, and then another set of 2 for Yale to even the score at 4-4. Bulldogs trying to end that run of 2-goal streaks. Johnson's shot didn't get much on it, might have been blocked in front. Here's Brandau. In tight, Johnson. Shot never got there again. He's in a good spot there. I think those are good shots. They just never made it to the cage.
You can't ask for a better positioning. He's 5 yards in front of the goal, right in the center. Interference on Princeton. They're going to send that ball back for Yale. But again, the Princeton defenders getting in the way, eating shots for their goalie. It is a team defense and a group that Coach Madelon has really just pulled this group and gotten them to be just one of the best defenses in the country.
Princeton with 11 shots on net. Yale has 10 of their own. Yeah, Peters has stood tall. More recently, his defenders doing a lot of the work for him. Thomas Bragg missed wide that time. Carson Cool underneath. Krevsky back up top to Thomas Bragg.
A lot of new faces for Yale.
Haven't seen all that much of Krevsky so far this year, but making an impact here in the second. There's a shot. That's a little wide from Carson Cool.
Coach Shea said a couple weeks ago that he was going to start opening up the bench, playing new guys that haven't gotten played.
Brandau. Oh, they just keep on peppering the shot with the net with shots, but nothing's getting by Peters in this Princeton defense.
Well, looks like Coach Shea's calling a timeout.
And with
no, Princeton calling a timeout.
Princeton timeout. We're still even at 4 here in New Haven. Stick with us. All even at 4 here in the second quarter, 7:04 to go. The second-ranked Princeton Tigers come to New Haven. They have not trailed yet against the 14th-ranked Bulldogs. Austin Rooney, Patrick Reed, glad to have you on hand for today's matchup. Sharp may have had a shooting lane, but he pulled back.
Coach Madelon calls a timeout there. You wonder if was it to change the plan or was it just to give his defense a little break? They've been playing a lot of defense and give them a little breather.
And Yale had just had the shot on net, so they reset the shot clock. In tight, Brandau hit the crossbar. No one's back for Yale, and it's a turnover.
And this is really a huge defensive stop for Princeton. You look at what's been going on. They fight off Yale, who gets look after look after look, hold them without a goal, and now if Princeton can score, just look for that momentum to switch.
Turn it over, watch out, Leo Johnson scores! Johnson puts the Bulldogs up for the first time today.
Caused turnover right at the midfield, and it's like a 4-on-3 drill that you do, getting yourself open. Looks like he's going to pass it off to hold that defenseman at bay, and then just rips it right past Peters' ear.
Top corner, there's no stopping that ball. 3 straight goals now for the Bulldogs. Withdrawal control finds it all the way deep in Yale's end. And Nick Ramsey goes all the way back to get it.
And Yale's got an advantage now if they can push it. Look at Chris Fake leading out that charge.
Leo Johnson wants another, but Eric Peters there. That shot might have been a little bit forced.
A little bit, but he's seizing that momentum and wants to try to build on it. But again, not a great shot. Hit Peters right in the midsection.
All the momentum here at Reese Stadium was favoring Yale, but let's see if Princeton can get anything going on this possession.
Can we talk about how great the Ivy League is playing each other this year? Last week, 3 one-goal games, and this game is just another beautiful game for Lacrosse.
21-20 game. I mean, talk about running up the score there. In tight. Paquette is there again.
I just don't know how he makes that save. There's no way he should make that save.
I talked to Andy Shea before today's game. He said he spoke very highly of Paquette's ability to stop his shots, and he talked about his personal growth as well between the COVID year into this year, and just becoming a big and a much more mature young man who's able to take on the duties of a starting job.
I think if you asked him about any of the players on this team this year or any of the younger guys, he's going to say the same thing. Beginning of the year, he just talked about how young they were, how green they were, how much they had to learn, but they're getting stronger every day.
And there's another. Matt Brandow, and Yale's got a 2-goal lead.
A pick set by Thomas Bragg from X. He pays the price, but it frees Matt Brandow up for a 1-on-0 with the goalie, and he doesn't miss from there.
It's now 4 straight for Yale. They trailed 4-2, no longer. And another draw control, another face-off win, I should say. Doesn't hurt. Just finished up with the women's game earlier today. Yale women's team rallied from down 9-4 to win 11-10.
Princeton fans trying to rally their team, cheer them, get them going again because they have hit a little bit of a drought for this quarter.
Yeah, Princeton has not found the back of the net here in the second. Sharp tried to extend the lead to 3. Didn't miss by much.
This quarter looking a lot like the fourth quarter for Yale against that Cornell game, where they just dominated for that last 15 minutes.
And another one. Brandow extends the Yale lead to 7-4.
If you are not a fan of lacrosse, this game will make you a fan. Look at this shot. Backhand right over Peter's head. Beautiful.
You're talking about fans of lacrosse. The sport is growing. There's no question about it. I'm someone who didn't watch all that much lacrosse maybe 8-10 years ago, back in high school growing up. But it is such a fun sport, such a fast-paced, intensity, big hits. It's got everything you love of football and hockey all sort of pushed together into one.
Yeah, and another broken stick there, creating an unsettled situation for Princeton. But that win from Sandoval, they needed that right now. They needed to stop the bleeding.
And this is a critical possession for the Tigers.
And you can see it. The body language from the Princeton players, they're like, calm down, calm down. And here's Chris Brown.
We haven't called his name all that much here in the second quarter. Remember, he had 9 points against Penn. Verdaro. There's Christian Ronda. Shooting wide. And there hasn't been no offense from Princeton. Let's just be clear, though, because, you know, a lot of this is thanks to Jared Paquette, who has played an outstanding game, stopped 8 of 12. Now in tight, and he makes another stop. A second try goes. It's Alexander Verdaro with his second of the game. You can only ask Paquette to make so many saves.
Verdaro with a great picking up that loose ground ball. Everybody focusing. Wow. And he's just able to beat Paquette. That's just great heads-up lacrosse. You may call it a garbage goal. I think those are the prettiest ones because it's just heads-up lacrosse.
Getting to the loose ball. We'll talk about exactly what the doctor ordered for Princeton. They'd surrendered 5 straight goals. They get one with just under 2 minutes to go in the first half.
And Sandoval wins another one, and it's a fast break.
Slusher couldn't handle it, though. It looks like it's going to stay with Princeton.
Yeah, initially the official had pointed possession to Yale.
Oh, and are they going to reverse course here? Or it's going to be a timeout called by Yale, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like they were going to switch it back, and so Coach Shea called that timeout. You got 1:40 seconds left. Princeton has a little bit of momentum. You don't want to just let them go and run an unsettled play, so get your defense in there who you want, play them tough, and see if you can hold them to prevent another goal before the end of this half.
Well, there was little question today that this one would be a fun matchup. When you have 2 top 15 teams square off, it's always going to be a blast, but I'm not sure we could have expected the fast pace and intensity we've seen today.
Yeah, and I really, with the way Princeton is playing, I didn't think that Yale would have this kind of quarter. And, of course, there's still a lot of game left, so we could see the same kind of swing back in Princeton's favor for the third quarter. But Yale really just showing they're a team that can play with anyone, and they need to show that they can beat anyone. Princeton has really shown they beat 3 top 5 teams in a row. They're a team that can beat anyone this season, and Yale's going to go toe-to-toe with them right now.
A look inside Princeton's huddle with Coach Matt Madelon. He's got 5 senior captains this year. A big team, of course. They had the incoming freshman and incoming sophomore class. They're led by Jamie Atkinson, George Bond, Chris Brown, Eric Peters, Andrew Song. We've talked about a few of them at length already. And let's see if Captain Chris Brown can get anything going on this possession. There's Brown. Verdaro, hands off for Sam English. English can't get the shot away. Just under 30 seconds separate the game clock and the shot clock. Mackesy in front. English.
Good recovery there by Fake. Good individual defense to keep him out.
$15 to go. Slusher works free. In tight. Flag thrown.
Tremendous defense. Paquette had been that save, but Yale's going to go into the penalty box. Are we going to look at a hold or a hit? Unnecessary rough, 1 minute.
So 1 minute penalty charged against Yale. And again, this is a Princeton team that converts at just under a 70% rate.
Princeton
10 seconds. Ooh, big shot, missed wide.
Princeton working the top, the three middies across the top, moving it back and forth and looking to feed inside. And they get the feed, but just a slightly off-target shot.
And they're going to hold. That will do it for the first half. You like the decision there to hold to end the first?
Get possession in the second half,
Yeah.
absolutely. The way Yale's been facing off, that's the ball that you want to have. The
23 seconds remain on the man-up opportunity to start the second half for Princeton. But going into the end of the first half, it's Yale with a 7-5 advantage from Reese Stadium.
in the man advantage.
There's Mackesy. Fired, denied again by Paquette. Looks like Paquette's picked up right where he left off in the first half. He stopped 9 out of 14. Make that 10 out of 15. Good for a 67% save percentage.
And Yale able to kill it off. Gets back in.
All the way up top. That's Alexander Verdaro. And Princeton more than content to hold this one with just 20 seconds to go on the shot clock. Here's Chris Brown. Slusher back to Brown. Seven to shoot. Verdaro. Hands off. Chris Brown with 1 on the shot clock.
Great ball movement from Princeton. You saw Yale drop into a zone defense, 2 guys down low and then a diamond up top, and Princeton just works the ball around the top. It gets to Chris Brown on the wing, and he just steps with that low angle and stings that top right corner.
Well, you could sense the pressure coming to Princeton with the shot clock running down, but it doesn't miss a beat. That's the senior leadership from Chris Brown. Princeton was down 3. They're back within 1. They can tie it on this possession.
And you see a little run from Sandoval. That's the 3rd one in a row, the third win for him on those faceoffs. And those are going to become more and more important as this game goes on.
Patrick, what do you think some of those halftime changes might have been for Princeton?
I don't know that I would change anything. They're doing everything that it's a close game. These games are always close, and a great
English took a shot. Loose ball. Yale had it momentarily. Chris Fake, the long stick, had picked it up.
And they call a hold on Princeton. As Fake was running up the field, you can check that arm, you can check the stick, but you can't just hold down on it. And you saw Fake's arm, just it was held down and the ball came out.
Long pass ahead. Kept in. Excellent play by Tevlin to get it across to Brad Sharp.
Great tiptoe in the line play by Tevlin. And you see Coach Madelon gave him kudos there. He said, hey, that was a nice play.
Game recognizes game, huh?
Yeah. These guys, and these are teams that just are going to go toe-to-toe. They're competitors. They don't really like each other.
Big shot fired from Christian Kropp. Missed the net.
And here's Brandow with a pick.
Up top, Leo Johnson.
Yale getting their looks. Still a lot of time left in the shot clock.
Underneath. Tevlin to Thomas Bragg. 15 to shoot now. Oh, and missed his target. Looking for Matt Brandow. Pass a little bit out of his reach.
And now let's see what Yale does with this ride. Princeton looking to move it quickly.
Princeton's only 8 out of 14 in these clears. This one comes a little bit easier. The long stick all the way in. Billings couldn't beat Paquette. And we've got a flag.
Wow, I'm assuming that's going to be a late hit. Chris Fake, I didn't see what the call was. But you don't want to go to man down and lose probably your best defensive player on the field.
Well, that one's undoubtedly going to hurt for Yale. It looked like they might have just fended off the danger as Pace Billings took it all the way. And it was denied by Paquette. A 1-minute penalty assessed to Fake.
And Princeton did a great job of really taking all those shots that Yale put in there and settling down and not losing composure.
Sends it across. Mackesy didn't have a lane. Verdaro passed it up, skipped out of his stick.
Wow.
DeMuth.
What a great dodge by DeMuth. Splits two attackmen and goes down the field.
What a play defensively. The stands rattling here. And Yale with the response. It's Matt Brandow, 8-6 Bulldogs.
Wow, and that's a little non-traditional. You still have 14 seconds left on Fake's penalty, but Brandow gets his shot. He takes it. We're not going to, most times you're going to see a team say, hey, kill that penalty off and then wait and go into your offense. But Yale, hey, we're going to strike now. We have confidence in our face-off midfielder, Nick Ramsey, and we're going to go and try to take this one.
And there's not that much time left on the penalty either. Even if they lose the face-off here, sure, there'll be some extra man time, but not a ton. Maybe a little bit of time to set up with just 14 to go. But Ramsey's been good throughout this game. It is Princeton who wins the face-off. Let's see if they try to work quickly. Now they're going to slow things down. Fake's penalty time expires. It's Jack Montfort who actually goes out there instead. Brown back to Mackesy. There's no question about Mackesy's power. We saw that back in the first half. Can really rip it from X. It's Slusher. Back to Chris Brown. Always love to see him work. Brown, quick shot. Not all that close. Missed high and wide of the cage.
And the sky's looking a little ominous right now, getting kind of dark outside.
That puts it lightly, to be honest. A dark gray cloud overhead. Princeton got to get a shot away. Mackesy right on cue.
Mackesy with just a great time and room shot. Shoots it high to low.
That's the second rocket we've seen from him. We saw one that was even more blistering pace back in the first half. but he's cut the deficit to 8-7. Yale has led this game ever since they took a 3-2 lead in the first half, or 5-4 lead, I should say.
And another
Quick
big
face-off.
win. Big win from Sandoval.
He's looked really good here in the second half.
I'll be
Sandoval won under 50% back in the first, but it looks like things have almost changed here in the second.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if it's just changing the technique or what he's trying to do. It looks like these last three that he's won, he's winning them forward. So are we going to see Ramsey start countering by trying to keep him from winning those? Block him off, slow him down.
We saw McAsee rip it from up top. Now he cuts in front. Paquette makes another stop. Some miscommunication. Looking for Chris Brown. Send it over to the Yale sideline. That's Carson Cool.
Yale settling in, getting the personnel they want out there.
Bragg, hands off for Brandow. In tight, quick shot from Tevlin denied. Second chance opportunity, Bragg fires wide.
Great ball movement from Yale. Really great possession, getting the shots, getting the look, but still not getting those shots to drop.
Carson Cool for Thomas Bragg. Cool still controlling. Plenty of time on the shot clock after the reset. Tevlin trying to make a move. In front! How about that finish from Chris Lyons?
Chris Lyons really developing into that inside presence for Yale. Tevlin, a real long dodge with a lot of speed, ends up behind the goal, behind goal line extended, has his eyes up, looks and sees Lyons just cut back door, and he's wide open on the crease.
50 years ago.
No one saw him. He cut right in front. He put the Bulldogs back up by 2 midway through the third. (9-7) Yale. The Bulldogs led by 2 at half, 7-5. They've traded goals here in the third quarter. And Yale's lead remains at 2. These face-offs we've seen in the second half have gone the direction of Princeton. The first 3 have, make it 4, flag thrown.
And I can only assume that's going to be a push with possession.
Well, the referee's convening. No one headed over to the penalty box yet unless it's on Nicholas Ramsey, which I'd imagine would make sense.
That's what it looks like. Coach Shea's coming over. I'm wondering if it would.
No flag.
So I guess they're going to call like a loose ball hold and then just give possession to Princeton.
Yale's got to be happy about that. Don't have to worry about another extra man opportunity.
Coach Madelon pleading his case. There was that slash over there, and now you're not going to call this hold. You threw the flag.
Well, Princeton is yet to convert on their extra man opportunities today. They're 0 for 3. Uncharacteristic of this bunch.
Well, weren't you the ones telling Coach Shea that his man-down defense wasn't that good?
I talked to him on the phone call. I asked him about it. He said he wasn't changing anything. He was giving me a bit of a hard time there on the phone. There's a shot and he scores. Chris Brown from distance, and it's a 1-goal game.
Chris Brown, you can't let him get his hands free in the middle of the field. He drives across the field, gets his arms up, and the slide just get there too late. And a great shot by Chris Brown. Defensively, Yale letting a lot of the guys, letting shots go from the outside because Paquette's been really good with that. But you're going to get those shots from Chris Brown with movement that are difficult.
Paquette stopped 12 out of 20, but another face-off violation goes against Yale, and they just keep on coming for Princeton. Face-offs now favor the Tigers 11-8. They favored Yale at the break 8-6, so 5 straight.
It's really going to be interesting to see what I'd love to see the highlights. They do a highlight pack of all the face-offs.
And there's another. This one's tied. Verdaro converts.
Verdaro, kind of a mirror image of what Chris Brown just did. Yale letting him cross, letting him dodge across. Verdaro gets away, gets a step, and he's able to bounce one past Paquette.
Nine here in the third quarter. Back-to-back goals for the Tigers. Why not another face-off win if he can handle it? Sandoval's got it, and a timeout called by the Tigers. That's 6 consecutive.
And you can understand the tension here that we got 6 minutes left in the third, and Coach Madelon burns that timeout saying, hey, we need this possession. We've got a good situation here. Let's get the ball, and we need to capitalize on this possession. But there is a lot of time left in this game. I don't know if I would have called it there, but he's a lot better coach than me, so I'm sure he knows better than I do.
A big timeout called. You mentioned it early, 6.5 to go here in the third. But for Princeton, it's an opportunity to take the lead for the first time since they were up 4-3.
Yeah, offensively, they're starting to click, and this has really been a game of runs. 3 out of the last 4 going for Princeton, and they're fighting back into it. They're winning the face-offs in this quarter. I'm a little surprised that I haven't seen Coach Shea switch it up, maybe throw a Joe Newman, throw a Mac Rodriguez, change something up, unless he just says, hey, we're gonna win one soon.
And that's got to be the message, unless he's gonna, he might change something up right now, but for the first 21 face-offs of this game, they haven't changed much. Gone with Nick Ramsey. Flag thrown. Extra man coming for Princeton. McAsee in tight. Oh, Paquette is there. When you go cross-crease like that, it's tough to make a save that good.
Yeah, that's just amazing, being able to get to the other side, find that ball that quick, and stuff that shot. But Bryce DeMuth going to the box.
So 1-minute penalty. It's a slashing penalty against DeMuth. In tight. Jake Stevens rang it off the crossbar. It stays with Princeton. A fresh 60 on the shot clock. English to the outside, another stop, rebound, they score. It was Verdaro who ripped it from up top, and Stevens who cleaned up the scraps, and Princeton is back on top.
Wow, first lead since it was 4-4 a long time ago. Princeton battling back, took control of this game, seized the momentum, and is just chipped away, and now you see the face-off. Sandoval and Yale, like we said, switches it up. You got James Ball going out there.
Well, when 6 in a row go the direction of Princeton, something's got to change. Violation called. Make it 7 consecutive faceoffs. And 3 straight goals scored by the Tigers. It was 9-7 Yale. It's 10-9 Princeton.
And Princeton has really, when you look at the matchups for the last 10, 12 years, they really have not won the face-off matchup in any of those games. Nice caused turnover there by Yale.
They're going to move in transition. Leo Johnson back to X. Let's see if Yale slows this down. But a critical possession, though.
They have not. Princeton has not won the face-off battle in any of these games for a decade. So you know they have to be looking at that and say, hey, if we can win that, we have to feel really good, and that's got to give this team more energy as this game wears on.
Christian Kopp behind the net. There's Chris Lyons. Lyons for Tevlin. Big push. Trying to work it free. Kopp can't hang on to it. And it's Princeton headed back the other way. They force the turnover. Oh, off the post. Yale possession.
And that is just great hustle by Tevlin. He'd run back to get in the hole on defense. The shot, he sprints and dives for it. And that last dive gave Yale the possession. That's a huge play and just a great episode of senior leadership, and you see the whole Yale bench coming over to greet him and say, great job.
Around the net. Oh, in tight. Lyons couldn't handle it. He would have had a surefire goal from that distance.
Forced a little bit too close, but a great caused turnover there. Looked like Thomas Bragg.
Yeah, in and out of the stick of Finley there, I believe. Yale with the possession, trying to even things up at 10. But on back-to-back possessions, they've turned it over. Brandau holds. Trying to fire one toward the net, but missed pretty far off. Bulldogs going to stick with possession.
You feel the tension getting more and more And you got to wonder if these young Yale players are going to be able to handle this.
Johnson, just the first year. Brandau, he's the experienced leader, the junior attacker. Just 17 to shoot.
He wanted the ball.
Brandau in front, he scores! Goes through the legs on Peters. It's even at 10.
You look to your leaders in a big game like this. Brandau waved the other attackman off, said, no, let me get the ball. A great pick. Who's that? Johnny Kaib with a great pick, or Max Krevsky with a great pick. Just able to get a step. Once he gets above goal line, extends it, he goes 5-hole on Peters.
Yeah, we talked about mixing the lineup up. We haven't talked all that much about Max Krevsky. The first year. Plays midfield, a little bit of attack as well. Came up with a big moment there on the pick that set Brandau up for the goal. But Princeton back the other way. Another face-off win, but they give it away.
And Sandoval, I don't know if he was drinking some Gatorade or something at half, that something's changed, that he has been a man possessed in this second half and hasn't lost in this quarter.
It would have given Princeton a nice boost, but he just gave it away as well.
Yeah.
Face-offs now favor Princeton 14-8. At halftime, Yale led that face-off battle 8-6. 8 consecutive for the Tigers.
And in spite of that, it's a 10-10 game. And Yale's going to take the time. They got 43 seconds left on the shot clock, 50 seconds left in the quarter. Wait for that last shot.
Princeton has chipped away, right? It was 7-5 at half, so they've outscored Yale 5-3. But based on the way the faceoffs have been going, Princeton could have run away with this one at this point.
Absolutely. Paquette's done a really good job of keeping them in it.
$15 to go on the shot clock, I should say. In tight, there's a goal. Chris Lyons, and Yale is right back on top.
Great maul movement, going from one side of the field to the other, and then you just find Lyons, finds the seam in that zone, and is able to get his hands free and shoot low on Peters.
Lyons with the hat trick. 2 players for Yale with hat tricks. Brandau's got 4. Lyons has 3.
$19 seconds left in this quarter, and the way Sandoval's been winning, this could really another win, but it could have been a win forward, and there was certainly time to get another goal.
10 seconds to go. They're not out of time yet. The shot misses wildly from Jake Stevens with 6.7 to go.
A lot of time here.
They got to work quickly. Mackesy, 3 to go. 2 in tight. That will do it. They had a chance there to end the third quarter, but it's Yale who leads this one 11-10. We're going to the fourth. Stick with us. Yale leads Princeton 11-10 in this Ivy League matchup. Princeton ranked 2nd in the country. Yale ranked 14th. Some other big Ivy League games going around, though, Patrick.
Yeah, Penn earlier today beat Cornell 15-11 in a match of 2 great teams. And then we look right now, Dartmouth 7, Harvard 6 in the second quarter. What great games in the Ivy today.
Remember, Dartmouth receiving votes in that top 25 poll. Sandoval took a shot. It's going to be Yale possession, though.
Sandoval, two plays there. You had to know he's shooting. You got to back up there. You can't get beat to that end line by Paquette out of the net.
That's the second time, though, I think in as many face-offs where Sandoval has won the face-off and it's given away right off the bat. This time it's a missed shot, so it's not a turnover. But back-to-back times when they haven't taken care of the ball, and instead of having a possession off the face-off, it's Yale possession.
He's doing a great job, but then Yale turns it over right there with an errant pass, and Princeton turning the other way.
Dove to try to keep that one alive. He couldn't. Chris Brown. Flag coming up. Big time shot from George Bond, but he missed the net. But Princeton back to the man up. Princeton came into this game, the man up, at 11 out of 16. But so far today, they have struggled to get it past that Yale defense. They're just 1 for 4 on man-up opportunities.
And it's been an area that Yale's had to work on. And today, when the game matters and they have to come up with this, they've found the way to stop these.
Jake Stevens restarts things for Princeton. A 30-second penalty assessed against Brian Tevlin. Who's there? Paquette's there. Yale. They've got some numbers here. They're going to peel back, though. Wait for reinforcements.
Yale's strength in the last, really now in the last couple of years has been their midfield, and they just have guys that can just run, and shoot. Last couple of years, you look at Yale, they always had 1 or 2 midfielders who were really great shooters and could dodge. You had Jack Ty, you had Michael Kesey, but now it's like you got Bragg, you got Cool, you have all these guys that can really create and shoot and are such threats on offense. Even the defensive midfielders, when they're coming down, they're threats to shoot there. So that's why it's just a great defensive play by Princeton to slow those down.
Loose ball. Bragg picks it up. But going back to that, you've got these extended targets, but when you're attacker, you just pick up, and Leo Johnson's third overall in the country, it doesn't hurt as well. Jack Monfort couldn't hang on to it.
Good check from the defense, and here's an unsettled situation, 4-on-3.
In tight, Mackesy. He couldn't beat him. Paquette's there again.
Chris Brown.
Mackesy had 3 seconds in front of that net to try to figure out where he was going to go.
And we got to get a replay on that because it looks like Paquette got it with his leg. But a great play by Chris Brown there, not to rush it, pulled it out, recognized he didn't have numbers, saved that possession.
Mackesy works from X. In the crease.
Crease violation. Looked like his hand went down. And Yale turns it over. Tiptoeing that sideline. Chris Lyons was going out of bounds and just dumped it back down. And Princeton is able to pick it up. These turnovers are going to pay.
They are.
You can't let a team, you can't just have these turnovers. And both of these teams have kind of had some unforced turnovers, and the other team has made them pay. And look for Princeton to make Yale pay on that right now.
Verdaro wound up. He now shoots, and it's in. The turnovers. We talk about it time and time again, but Princeton has leveled the score at 11.
And just a little ball movement, a hitch step, and a shot. Not a super hard shot, but just picks a good angle. And again, we see James Ball coming out to take the face-off.
Well, face-offs have gone disastrously wrong for Yale here in the second half. Do they finally have one? They do. They went with Nick Ramsey for virtually the entire first half. And they go with James Ball, who finally wins one.
That was a tough play there. Johnny Kibe running and didn't realize someone was on his back till the last second.
Tevlin trying to create. Back to Chris Lyons from X. Here's Johnny Kibe. Haven't seen all that much of him so far. Top 50 recruit coming into the year. Kibe shoots, stopped by Peters. Where's it going? It stays with Yale. Leo Johnson dove for that one.
And Coach Madelon, 5 yards on the field, wants to know. And it looked like the Princeton defender had the angle. And who was that? That was Leo that dove underneath him.
Yeah.
Leo Johnson.
You want a hustle play? That's a hustle play.
And that's one of the hallmarks of Yale, the Yale players.
Second chance, and they score. That's Matt Brandow. Sort of a broken play. A second chance, a third chance, and Brandow buries it.
Seeing these rebounds pop up, Tevlin with a nice dodge, shoots, gets a little angle, and it just pops right to Brandow, and not a lot Peters can do with that reaction time there. But it goes back to that dive on the end by Leo Johnson, and that's something, you see these Yale players, they always dive for the balls when they're going out of bounds, and you got to wonder how much of that is because of the psychological advantage that the officials look at it and they're like, oh, he's diving, he's close.
Yeah.
And do they give it to him more often, or what is the?
Because I initially thought he'd lost that race to the ball.
Yeah, it looked like it. I think it was Bond. Bond looked like he had it, and he looked like he dove through his legs and actually took his legs out. Maybe it's like his hand was ahead because it was between his legs.
Well, now Princeton fighting from behind again. Mackesy. And Rhonda slows things down. Now cuts in. Paquette might have gotten a piece of that one. Nicely tipped away by Eschblock. Princeton barely keeps that in. Nice stop by Sam English, prevent it from going out of play.
Yeah, if this is a dry day, that's out of bounds. But would you get that little bit of moisture on the turf? It slows the ball down just enough. Well, they're calling that a shot. It looked like it was just a check that knocked the ball up, but
I mean, I think it was generally going toward the net, and it was enough to call it a shot. Stays with Princeton here. It's Alex Slusher. He's been quieter recently. We've heard a lot from Verdaro, a lot from Mackesy. Well, there's Slusher. He lost the handle.
Wow.
It's picked up by Paquette.
That's a great check there. Just puts that stick right in between his hands, so a hand has to come off, and he just wedges the stick out. And now it's unsettled, but Brandow's going to take time and pull it out.
Yale having trouble keeping possession And the Bulldogs call a timeout. Yale 12, Princeton 11 with 7:14 to go. Stick with. Well, we are set for a fantastic finish at Reese Stadium. The number 14 team in the country, the Yale Bulldogs, looking to knock off number 2 Princeton. Yale with a 1-goal lead, 12-11. Coming out of the timeout. Austin Rooney, Patrick Reed, we're glad to have you on hand for the finishing 7 minutes and 10 seconds in this contest.
A huge timeout there by Coach Shea to preserve that possession.
It looked like Yale was going to lose possession right before the timeout, but you said it, Annie Shea calls a timeout, have an opportunity to regroup. Shot clock running low now, down to 15. There's a shot, they score! It's Johnny Keeb and Yale with a 2-goal edge.
First time we've had a 2-goal differential in quite some time, since about 10 minutes into the third quarter. And you saw Brandow just go, look like he was going to question mark dodge and shoot. And the double was coming, and Keeb just follows, sneaks behind on almost like a wheel play, and gets and puts it top corner past Peters.
Well, Keeb hasn't had all that much playing time so far this year. He came into the year as a 47th overall recruit at a high school. But talk about a big goal against the number 2 team in the country late.
And Yale won the face-off there. Ball had won it, fell down, and Princeton is just able to win that ground ball and get a huge possession that they need right now.
Yeah, it squirted loose to Ben Finley, who finally picked it up. But you said it, doesn't get much bigger than this. 6 minutes to go. Sent across, there's English. That stop, rebound, it's in! Alex Slusher cleans it up. It's 13-12.
Paquette making great saves, but Slusher, they're just able to pick up that ground ball off the initial shot and put it away. Great lacrosse, nice skip pass from Brown.
We've seen a lot of second chance opportunities after initial stops from Paquette. And there's another one of them.
Yeah, we've seen it. Well, we've seen a couple both ways where they've come off the pipe, but it's a good, doing a great job. And Yale switched it up at the face-off again. I think that one was Mac Rodriguez.
Yale up 1 with possession. Can they respond to the Princeton goal?
You look at how Princeton has played the last couple of weeks. You know, they've gone through Murderers Row, and they're playing everybody. And they've won tight games. They've won low-scoring defensive games. They've won shootouts. They're just putting a really great resume together. And Yale has really just stepped up for this game and is going toe-to-toe with them.
Princeton playing in their 5th consecutive top 20 opponent. Play the likes of Georgetown, Maryland, and now jumped into Ivy League play. Game versus Penn last weekend, they won a shootout 21-20. Here's Brandow. Thomas Bragg with 10 to shoot.
And you got to wonder if playing all these games back-to-back is creating a little fatigue with this team, that they would be a little bit fresher if they had a game that wasn't so tough.
Certainly builds resume. There's a shot from Johnson off the crossbar. It's a shot on goal, so that means the shot clock's reset. There were maybe only 3 or 4 seconds to go when Johnson let that one rip.
And Yale has been really getting into the shot clock, taking a lot of time, trying to take the time off the clock. Right now, which I think is, I would want to score. You got to score against this team. A 13-12 score right now is not going to, you're going to need more than 13 to win this game, I think.
Just saw Keeb cash in on the last possession. It's Leo Johnson, another first year.
And a big hit from Bo Pedersen there.
Oh, he shoots, it's blocked in front. Brad Sharp over the bar.
I think Sharp was looking, selling it, trying to get a little penalty there, banging that head back.
You see a lot of these first years in there. Keeb, Leo Johnson, Brad Sharp. It's one after the next after the next. And that time, Brandow let it fly. 9 to go.
Brandow goes back and waves the other attackman off and says, give me the ball again, there's 9 seconds. I'm going.
3 to go. He shot off the outside of the net, and that'll do it. Did Yale just win it back? They did. It was possession from Princeton briefly. The shot clock's reset. They got it at 80.
George Bond had the ground ball. I don't know if he didn't notice that somebody was coming behind him, but just creates that caused turnover. And now Yale's going to look to take another minute off of this clock.
Tevlin came off. His teammates mobbing him. Yale 13, Princeton 12. Just over 3 to go in the fourth. Kresge, another first year out there. Lost his footing. Scooped up by Monfort. And a Yale timeout.
Talk about taking these key, huge moment timeouts. That saved a possession. Yale is going to turn that ball over if Coach Shea doesn't call timeout there. And just a huge timeout to retain possession for Yale. But the most important question is, are they going to be able to capitalize? If Princeton is able to kill off this possession and get it going the other way, the momentum that they're going to have, that energy that, hey, we killed it, now let's get it to our offense. They've been in these close games. They're comfortable in these close games. And Yale is too. Yale's played, they played UMass to an overtime winner. They played Cornell very tight last week. Were able to bring it back after that big deficit. But Yale's got to put one in the net here, or momentum-wise, those last 3 minutes, they're going to have a rough time.
Under 3 minutes to go in a top 15 matchup. Yale 13-12 over Princeton. We've had a game here in the second half that's been back and forth. Really all game long, no one's had a lead greater than 3 at any point. The largest one was a 7-4 Yale advantage. Since then, it's been razor-thin margins all the way through.
And you think back to that part of the game, it really looked like, oh, wow, Yale's going to run away with this. And then Tyler Sandoval, just outstanding third quarter, going undefeated at the X, just able to control it and bring Princeton back into the game, help them get a lead.
His second half performance cannot be overstated. Won 8 consecutive face-offs. That got Princeton back in it. Thomas Bragg.
And will his teammates be able to make that effort count and come away with a win?
Brandow may have had a lane. Just missed. It's guarded heavily by Pace Billings. 14 to go. There's a goal! It's Carson Cole who let it rip. Yale leads 14-12. There's a flag now.
if your name is Carson Cool, you got to be good at lax. And I think that might be a little bit of frustration on the part of Princeton.
Looks like that was Luke Crimmins, the senior midfielder, as Bo Pedersen tried to corral him and walk him off the field. I didn't see the initial play.
But he's calling a cross check, and we got the replay coming up here.
Here's a look at that goal. It's guarded by Pedersen. It was an after the goal play. What a rip by Cool.
And I really didn't see any, it might have been off screen because you saw the official looking. But it's a dead ball foul, so there's no face-off, no Sandoval to win and get you possession.
So they need to earn a stop. Let's just go over what this means. 2:28 to go. Yale's got possession. They've got an 80-second shot clock. If Yale uses the entire shot clock here, there'd be 1:08 to go. When Princeton would have a chance, they'd need 2.
And that's again, we have Sandoval winning those quick face-offs. That's not an undoable task. Yeah, it's a close game. It might be tough. But you got to think, hey, take the time off the clock. But I've been wrong. There's been times where Yale's been in these situations where I would think, hey, I would take all the time off the clock. But you look, now Princeton going after and attacking the ball, and Yale just playing keep away.
Still 15 seconds to go on the man up time. I don't expect Yale to take a shot on this man up.
Yeah, I would not be surprised to see him wait. But maybe they just wait until the last couple seconds of it.
Well, there it is. Big shot ripped from Thomas Bragg, but Eric Peters there. That's going to give Princeton a little bit of extra time. 1:20 to go. They need 2. Oh, he was looking for Sam English. Pass never got there. It's a turnover. 76 seconds remain on the clock. The shot clock is now off.
And Matt Madelon calling all his guys up. You're going to see them riding, see Princeton riding, trying to create a turnover. They need this ball. They can't wait it out.
60 seconds to go. Monfort trying to play some keep away. And it's a turnover.
Yale offside. Ball's going to go back to Princeton. Chris Brown, one-on-one with Chris Fake.
Brown lost it, but it comes out in front. Paquette's there. The shot came from Alex Slusher, but Paquette makes another outstanding save. Mackesy trying to work it up top to Chris Brown, fighting for it with Stuzen. It's Yale ball, 30.8 to go. Long ball ahead, 24 to go. Clock stops at 23.8.
And who are they going to call?
Question is, where's possession here?
Possession to Princeton, and probably the right call there because it looked like it went out of bounds on the initial pass. And here comes Princeton on short time.
George Bond, the long stick, fires high and wide. 14.8 to go. They'd need a miracle at this point, and the timeout called by Princeton. What's the go-to move? 14.8 seconds. Obviously you need a goal now.
You're going to have to go with an ISO dodge just to create some movement in there. But at 14.8 seconds, I don't know that that's going to be enough. You're going to lose 7 seconds just getting it there. Maybe they try to fire it into the crease and get a quick one. At this point, with 14.8 left, you're really in a tough spot. And as we see the sun come out, I think we're kind of seeing a little clarity that Yale's going to have this game.
We'll talk about the ultimate resume builder, beating the number 2 overall team in the country. There's 16 spots in the NCAA tournament. You add in a few at-large bids, Yale at 14 is a bubble team for an at-large bid.
Yeah, they would be.
This win's going to help them.
This win is going to be huge. But you gotta. There's still a lot of time left in the season. There's a lot of games to be played, so you're going to see these teams come up, especially the Ivy. They're just beating up each other, and so you never know what's going to happen. This is a great win for the Bulldogs. You're going to have to see them jump up in the polls a few spots at least. But Princeton, their resume, looking at what they've done for the last couple of weeks,
it's outstanding.
How do you not look at them as they're just going to have, unless they absolutely fell apart for the end of the season, they have to be in.
They do.
And you always have the tournament, the Ivy League tournament with that automatic qualifier there.
Rhonda couldn't hang on to it. Paquette's got it. This will do it. The final seconds tick off the clock. Yale's done it. They've knocked off number 2 Princeton.
The Yale Bulldogs, a team that for the last decade built themselves on playing with a chip on their shoulder. And you wonder how they were going to get that chip back on their shoulder when they were riding so high. Well, you know what? Princeton comes in at number 2, and they're able to find that chip all over again.
The Yale Bulldogs fought a very close match with the Princeton Tigers. This thing was never separated by more than 3 goals, but a couple of late ones from some guys who hadn't played all that much this year. Johnny Keebe with a late goal. We saw Krevsky chip in. Some of these first-year players making a big-time impact on this Yale team.
Yeah, this is a team that's going to be building for the next several years, getting better and better with the guys they have in there and what they're able to do. Yale won a national championship with I don't think they had anybody that was more than maybe 2 top 50 recruits. And now they're getting some really good recruits. They're going to be able to do some really amazing things.
Leo Johnson headlined this past year's class. He was a 3rd overall recruit. He had another big day today. This whole team from start to finish. Johnson with 2 goals. Brandow, of course, he's the one you expect with 5 goals. Why not add 3 assists to it? An 8-point game for Brandow. And then Lyons, Chris Lyons, he added 3 goals of his own.
Top to bottom, everybody on this offensive side for Yale has really stepped up, and in a big game, they're showing what they're capable of.
The Yale Bulldogs have done it. They knocked off the number 2 overall team in the country, the leader in your Ivy League, coming into the Ivy League play at least, in the Princeton Tigers. So a statement win for the Bulldogs. Well, that will do it from us here at Reese Stadium. For my broadcasting partner, Patrick Reed, and my producer, Stephanie Doheny, I'm Austin Rooney saying so long from Reese Stadium, where the Bulldogs win this one 14-12. To watch this game or any other game on ESPN+, just visit the app. Have a nice night, everybody.